Hello, Facebook friends. Dr. Annette here. Hey, I just wanted to take a minute and talk about inflammation. I know a lot of people have what they call chronic illnesses, and I wonder if everybody really understands how the role that inflammation plays in your body's ability to heal and repair itself and feel better. So one of the topics that we talk about a lot when it comes to healthcare is inflammation. So inflammation is involved with almost every disease, and it's caused by a number of different things. So inflammation by definition is anytime you have an injury, like say you twist your ankle or you scrape your leg or your skin or something. Hey, Jose, if you hurt yourself, your body's natural response is inflammation, which is the way it's supposed to happen. Your body sends inflammatory cytokines to fix all of these things, and your body starts to repair, and the inflammation actually is part of the repair process. The problem is, if your body starts to have inflammation that is not for an acute injury, it's something that's hanging around longer than it should, it's not good. It can interfere with your immune system. It can interfere with the ability to heal. It can cause chronic pain. Even diseases like cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, any of those chronic diseases that people have can be linked back to inflammation. So the trick is inflammation isn't a disease on its own. Inflammation is created by or caused by something that's going on in your body. It could be an illness like a virus, a bacteria. It could be caused by foods that you eat. Say you have a food sensitivity to corn or something like that. If you constantly eat that, it's going to cause inflammation in your body. So the inflammation in your body therefore causes your body to work a lot harder, and unfortunately sometimes that inflammation can actually cause additional issues in your body that are very difficult to turn around without some help. Hey Kathleen, nice to see you. Hey Jason, good to see you here too. So foods that promote inflammatory responses in your body are things like corn and soy, partly because they're GMO, pasteurized dairy products like the regular milk that you buy at the store, homogenized milk, refined carbohydrates, which is like white flour, sugar, things like that, foods that have been processed. Yes, Kathleen, if I eat carbs like breads, first of all, I'm allergic to gluten, so I have lots of problems with that. But if I drink beer, my hands swell really bad. So I can't drink beer. Hey, nice to see you guys. Hi, Teresa. See, here's your live that you were asking me about. So conventional meats that are not grass-fed, sugars, trans fats, things like that can cause a lot of problems. But like I said, also food sensitivities that you have problems with that you're maybe not even aware of can also increase the level of inflammation in your body. And those are unique to each individual person. So that's something to also consider. But when you're dealing with inflammation, you really are dealing with something that causes illness. It increases illness. It causes your body to not be able to recover, not be able to heal, and it's a very serious problem in the United States. Partly because of the standard American diet and the use of antibiotics and prescriptions and things like that can also cause your body to not react the way it should to certain things. A lot of things like NSAIDs interfere with the inflammatory response. So if you twist your ankle and your ankle swells up and you start immediately taking something that reduces the pain, then guess what? You're impeding that healing process. And it can actually take longer for your body to heal, and it can also cause you to have more scar tissue than you would have had if you allowed the body to do what it's supposed to do. Now, part of the problem in our society is that everybody's in a hurry. They can't afford to take time off of work. They can't rest. They can't allow their body to heal. And everybody wants everything to happen right now. We live in such a right now society that people will take cold medicines when they shouldn't. They will take over-the-counter stuff to treat almost anything that happens to them, especially sprains and strains. They're always reaching for the pills out of the cabinet, and everybody thinks those things are safe because you can buy them without a prescription. But I'm telling you, those things that you can buy, even if you buy them without a prescription, are not necessarily safe or good for your body long term. So if you sprain your ankle and you're limping around and you reach for an NSAID, I'm trying not to say any brand names of things, so I don't want anybody to sue me, but if you reach for something that reduces the inflammation, then you can cause yourself to take a longer time to heal and for things to not heal as well or as strong as they could. So you could re-injure yourself over and over again by using something to stop the inflammation process. So the real thing that we really need to do is work on keeping our bodies from being inflamed. So avoid things like sugars and genetically modified foods and foods that are exposed to antibiotics and things like that. You know, try to eat raw, healthy, good for you foods. Stay away from carbohydrates and sugars and things like that so that your body has the ability to heal itself. If you have food sensitivities, sometimes you have to have blood testing to get that figured out because it's hard to pick those things out by yourself, especially if it's something like eggs or wheat, because those things are in so many things. It's difficult to pull out that, oh, I might be allergic to eggs or sensitive to eggs, because you're so exposed to them on a daily basis that it doesn't really get your attention. So inflammation is really part of almost every disease that people suffer from, and the causes of inflammation can come from lots of different places. So one of the things that I love to do is help people reduce their inflammation because it helps them feel better in a lot of ways. It helps reduce joint pain, muscle pain, things like brain fog. All of those things can be connected to inflammation. So if you're not eating a anti-inflammatory diet or doing something to help reduce the inflammation in your system, you of course are not going to feel well, and it can interfere with your body's ability to do what it's supposed to do. I know I'm repeating myself, but I want to make sure that I get the point across to people who may have chronic inflammation, because there are things that you can do about that. And if you have a disease that's connected to inflammation, such as fibromyalgia or any autoimmune disease, even heart disease is connected to inflammation. If there were no inflammation in the arteries, the cholesterol would not stick to the wall of the arteries, and there would not be anything called hardening of the arteries. So the reason people have inflammation in their arteries and the reason they have clogged arteries isn't because of cholesterol. It's because their body is inflamed, and the inside of the arteries where the blood flows is inflamed, and the cholesterol sticks to that because it's trying to repair that rough lining. So if you think about your arteries or veins, they're slick on the inside, and the blood should flow easily through there. But what happens in your blood is there's lots of things in there, and things are rolling and they're bouncing, and there's white blood cells that are eating up bacteria, and there's lots of stuff going on in your blood. So if your blood gets full of all of those things and your arteries are inflamed, all of that moving around in there can irritate it more and cause the cholesterol to start to stick, and therefore you end up with cardiovascular disease. So the next time somebody tells you that cholesterol causes cardiovascular disease, you can tell them that Dr. Annette said that is incorrect. It's actually inflammation that causes cardiovascular disease. And one of the main causes of inflammation is diabetes, blood sugar, those kinds of things. So if you have type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes and you're not taking the best care of yourself that you can, using the least amount of insulin that your body could possibly need, and trying to maybe not use insulin if you're in a position to do that, if your pancreas still makes insulin, that is, then you're reducing the amount of cardiovascular disease percentage that you are going to be exposed to. So reduce the inflammatory foods, make sure that if you are type 2 diabetic, that you are eating the least amount of carbs that you could possibly eat. You're taking really good care of yourself. You're not eating sugar. You're doing the things that reduce inflammation in your arteries and in your body so that you are not exposed to the chronic inflammation, to help your body heal faster and reduce the chances of you having cardiovascular disease or an autoimmune disease. Sometimes people can have autoimmune symptoms but not have the disease. I was treated for rheumatoid arthritis when I was 30 years old, but I didn't actually have rheumatoid arthritis. I was allergic to gluten and a lot of grains, and as I was eating those, they weren't putting me into a state of anaphylaxis, they were just causing tons of inflammation in my body. So I ended up being treated for an autoimmune disease for 5 years that I didn't even have, because they didn't know what else to do for me. But once I figured out that it was the food I was eating and I got away from the gluten and the corn and all of that, I don't have joint pain anymore. I don't have the swelling. I'm actually a lot more active than I was when I was 30, because I'm not hindered by the pain that I had. I had chronic pain caused by inflammation, caused by the foods that I was eating that my body didn't tolerate very well. So that's really, my goal was to just explain that inflammation is the root cause of a lot of diseases. But there are things that actually cause inflammation. It's not a standalone thing. So it's kind of a multifaceted thing that you have to deal with. But doctors that deal with those kinds of things on a daily basis are really good at figuring out where that inflammation is coming from. My husband just pulled in the driveway with my 69 Yenko clone Camaro, so he's out there revving up the motor. So I'm going to get off of here, but I wanted to talk about that. I want to thank you all for watching. If you're new, please type new. If you're watching this on the replay, please type replay. I love to have people share, so please share this if you know someone who might benefit from the information here. And if you'd like to join my group, please put group below, and I'll be sure to add you to my group so that you can follow me on a regular basis. If you love these lives, just click on the thing that says notify me when Annette goes live. I hope you all have a great evening. Thanks.